Welcome to the Women Are Worthy Network. I want to thank everyone for tuning in, and I am so excited. Okay, y'all know how I get when I get people who know about the human body, who they're just doing wonderful things. So today, calm down because I'm so glad to have this wonderful lady. Let's talk about the inner circle. She is okay. I'm telling you, when I say this woman is powerful, she's powerful. So we're talking about, we want to call all of those that want to be empowered, who want to be reinforced, and who desperately want to establish or reestablish themselves with like minded people. That's this wonderful lady right here. This is your tribe. We have the privilege of having information and conversation with Miss Adama. Okay, she has her own radio show and it's called Adama Speaks. Now, when I tell you, I need y'all to do something for me. Please go get your pad and your paper because she's gonna be dropping some jewels. Okay, she's gonna be dropping some jewels. Hello, how are you?
I'm absolutely thankful. How are you?
I am so blessed right now. I feel like
Yes,
I'm in the presence of a queen. I feel like I am in the presence of a queen. Thank you for taking your time, your space, and energy, joining us and giving us some informational tidbits.
well, you're very welcome. And I pray, we're on an information overload, actually. And I think that if the information that you're getting is not really supporting uh, being information with the who that we each are as these points of this absolute and supreme intelligence that is beginningless, endless, infinite, and eternal, then we don't need as much information as we need time for reflection, repentance, commitment, and consecration through purifying the body as the temple for the re-enthronement of the true spirits of the living gods and goddesses that is our absolute truth. There is a lot that is like just mind clutter, and I'm like, let's get rid of the clutter and get into the responsibility, the ability to respond correctly and directly to being under a global initiative of depopulation and genocide that has been in effect for generations.
Can you please explain to those who are tuning in? They're seeing this phenomenal lady, and I know they're like, Jackie, come on, we're gonna have to replay this because I couldn't catch up with her and I was typing. I was writing what she was saying. So I want you guys first to listen and then replay because I don't want you to miss the message. Now, can you please explain for those who are tuning in, hearing your wonderful message, who exactly is Adama?
I am the voice on behalf of our liberation, our salvation, our deliverance from a global initiative of depopulation and genocide, the world conquering rampage. And many of us, when we were in school, we heard that there were ones and ones on a world conquering rampage. What we're seeing in terms of the pandemic of sickness, illness, and disease, the abortion rate, which is the largest killer of us as a people, that's pandemic. We haven't been addressing it, the heart disease, the diabetes, the obesity, all of that. And so I am one who addresses how do we really respond correctly and directly to being warred against. All right. And because that which they refer to as food is a weapon of oppression, it's a tool of oppression. So the methodology of our liberation has been to really, I'll say the methodology of our oppression has been to oppress our cellular functioning. And the methodology of our liberation has to happen at the cellular level. So, in addition to being on radio, producing a program called The Meeting of the Inner Circle over the last 22 years, where I address these issues from the perspective of understanding that there is absolute law that governs our lives. Now, those who took responsibility to give us an orientation as to what life is and what success in life actually is, they never took time to really institute what purpose in existence upon the planet actually is. So we have institutions, church, religion, education, socialization that doesn't really address what the purpose in our being on the planet is. So exalting life. Nobody's been sent to the earth to be a detriment to anything or anybody else. We're all here to exalt life, to perpetuate life, to live in the understanding and the understanding of the divinity of our being directly. And so I am intensely intentional and very passionate about our liberation as a global humanity. And in order for us to accomplish it, we really have to be intensely intentional in no longer supporting the violation, the annihilation, the subjugation, the domination, the murder, the slaughter of other beings, and then feed off their body parts, their body fluids, their progeny, and whatnot, which is the real foundation of all of the disease, because our bodies being so perfectly and divinely designed can't do anything with all of that.
It's for our people, for melanin people, we have to unlearn a lot of things. So because we were conditioned, we were programmed to think, to eat, to speak certain ways, it's hard for us to unlearn. So watching you and listening to you, what two things someone could take away with this? Like, what are the two things they should start working with first?
Your commitment to life. Your commitment to life. See, what we were taught is how to make a living, but we weren't taught how to live. You understand? And the living, you understand, as a result of being in a place where the seeds of sickness, illness, and disease have been sown for so long. We're in the harvest of that now. And the harvest looks like people are making transition like this. People are dying like this. Why? Because they have been participating with their own demise, eating meat, dairy, eggs, chicken, fish, flesh, flour, alcohol, tobacco, sugar, all of this, which puts money and profits in the hands of those who felt entitled to capture us, enslave us, beat us, rape us, sodomize us, hang us, set us afire, castrate us, and whatnot. And I'm like, why are we supporting these people when they've already proven they do not have anybody's best interests at heart? But our education has allowed us to become blackface under white stupidity. So we are the ones who are marketing these products into our communities. We're driving their products into our communities. In the truck, we fill up the alcohol, the package stores on a Monday morning. You understand? There was a Business Chronicle did an article and said that Atlanta is an impoverished city surrounded by affluent suburbs. But on a Friday night in the city of Atlanta, $5 million is spent on chicken wings. Okay, so how much impoverishment do you have when y'all got $5 million to spend on the flesh of dead animals to consume and feed to your children? We're in a now moment that requires us to really understand that the pushing of the envelope of the genocide through forced vaccinations, mandates, masking, and all of this is a part of something that we do not need to be complicit, complacent, and co-conspirating with. But it will not, because we have, as you say, been programmed and whatnot, we have to come to a point where the two things that we really need to do is be committed to loving that which beats our hearts and breathes us with our whole body, heart, mind, with all of our might. To consciously care, to honor, and be a glory to the lineages through whom we've come, to learn how to be disciplined as disciples in praying without ceasing and consciously caring to be completely cleared, cleansed, purified, renewed, rebirthed, regenerated, rejuvenated, revitalized, revivified, and resurrected on behalf of all of humanity. Every hue, from the blackest black to the whitest white, everybody needs to be cleansed and purified and liberated from all of the residues, the preservatives, the nitrates and nitrites, the BHA, the BHT, the pesticides, hormones and antibiotics, and all of the chemicals that are now laden in the brain, compacted in mucus from all of the bread, the rice, the potatoes, the yams, all of this mucus producing food. So in addition to my being a producer of the radio program, in addition to my founding and operating Mother Earth's Blessing Holistic Life Center on Cheshire Bridge Road to help people reverse the issues of our sickness, illness, and disease, my absolute intention is to really be the voice on behalf of the realignment and the empowerment of women. Women everywhere.
I love your passion because that's what we're needing. We're needing to have more soldiers, more generals, because I consider you a general. You're the general, and we should be following what you're talking about because I don't think our people understand the food that you eat, how it messes with your cellular, how it goes down to the cellular. It just doesn't go in your stomach and then it comes out. I was talking to a young lady. She was eating some sort of, I don't know, chips or whatever, and it was orange. And if you know what I'm talking about. So I was asking her, what do
Right.
you think that food coloring? Do you understand when you eat certain chips, you want to eat one after another, one after another? It's designed for you to do that. And I don't think people really
Right.
understand because gone were the days when you were working on the farm and you were working 10 hours, and you were eating things that were healthy because it was devoid of pesticide, antibiotics. But when you're talking to some of our people, they don't get it. It's like, no, I'm going to eat, I'm going to die anyway. And I think that's just, I think that's just a sad reply when someone's talking to you because it does take time, it does take effort. But think about this: when you go get your car, it's a process. You got to make sure you qualify for the loan, you got to make sure you can make the payments. We have to treat our body like that. If we treat our bodies like we treat our cars, where every Sunday the car's always shined up and vacuumed up, I think we would
Right.
so, you know what I'm talking about, so much better. Because what I'm saying now is I've unplugged out of the matrix. That's what I call it. I've unplugged out of the matrix.
Mhm.
I'm Neo. I see things now. I'm clearer. And I've noticed
Right.
plugging out of the matrix, whether it's food, whether it's, because what you eat, what you put in is what you get out. So what I've noticed is when I eat right, the way I'm supposed to, my mind is not cloudy. My thoughts are not cloudy. When you treat yourself well, and here's another thing, and I would love for you to speak up, touch on this. Why would I harm my fellow human being, my fellow brother? Because if I'm loving myself, I'm going to love them too. I'm going to eat right. And that plays into it because, the things that we're doing and we're killing each other. And people don't realize it all falls down to how we feel about ourselves and the food that we're eating that can cause depression. And I don't think people understand that, Queen.
Absolutely. And to be in the, and this is a thing because I'm mentoring and dealing with people of all generations.
Right.
All right. So the elder ones in the 70s and 80s and whatnot, and who have the accumulation of 80 years of meat, dairy, eggs, chicken, fish, and whatnot, and they are having to accept that they can heal from the stroke, they can heal from the Alzheimer's. It's hard because I think the primary thing, Jacqueline, is that we have been taught that we are supposed to die from something. It
Yes.
is the belief in death that really is undermining the proper response to being under siege, to being warred against. Now, at some point, when a people realized that they were being warred against, they would strategize a way of responding to that. That means they would either go on the offense and get them before they got,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or they would create a way of defending or protecting themselves. But under a global initiative of depopulation and genocide, where divisiveness is really what we are seeing in terms of the food, or that which they're calling food, which is the tool of oppression, cellular oppression, to put us as individuals. We're individuations of the intelligence of existence that we refer to as God, right? But we're divided within ourselves. We do certain things that we feel are in our best interest, and then we do things that are not in our best interest, and then we do things that are truly detrimental. Right
Mm-hmm.
now, no other being does that. All other intelligences, from the gnat to the whale, everything exalts a full effort in its living. It does nothing to undermine itself. It knows its food, it excretes its waste, it knows its kind, it perpetuates itself, and it has the sense to respond when it thinks that its life is being threatened.
Mm.
Our behavior has been modified by all of the chemicals. This is the brainchild of the Germans. When Hitler's regime was overturned, the United States government gave his scientists asylum here in the United States. They are behind all of the chemical, the Bayer Bayer aspirin, we grew up with that. Bayer is one of those ones. So we're talking not just the pharmaceuticals, we're talking the pesticides, the herbicides, the shelf stabilizers, the flavor enhancers, what makes your Ore-Ida potatoes taste exactly the same, regardless of when you buy them, or your Minute Maid orange juice tastes exactly the same. And we expect the things to taste exactly the same. You understand? It has to be chemical, because different batches of oranges, different seasons are going
Right.
to be a little different. And so we're having to take responsibility for understanding that in light of being warred against, we cannot survive it when we are detriment to ourselves. We cannot survive it. So all of the seeds that have been sown in meat, dairy, eggs, chicken, fish, flesh, alcohol, tobacco, white sugar, white flour, all of this stuff is creating all of this congestion, mucus, acidity, cancer, heart disease, diabetes, lupus, sarcoidosis, all of these diseases, they're all reversible, but you cannot reverse them by popping pills. You cannot reverse them by allowing your body to be butchered and have your organs removed. That does not facilitate healing. All right. And the sisterhood, it's like when we realize that there, and when we remember, and when we are supported in remembering that the earth is as big as a period at the end of a sentence in relationship to the rest of all there is. Right. So we're already in eternity. We are on a planet that is a biospheric intergalactic spaceship, and these bodies are our spacesuits, perfectly and divinely designed. And so we are not just human feeders or useless eaters. We are intelligences of existence, male, the progenitor of lineages, wombed men, female, the perpetuator of lineages. Nobody has been authorized by the intelligence of existence or the will of existence, or that which we refer to as God, to be the perpetuators of sickness, illness, disease, and death, as popular in common activity, collective learning and education, and the path of prosperity. Who's getting paid for making sure that we have all of this artificial colors, artificial flavor, FD&C, all of that marketed to children? You understand? A people who undermine their children are a people who are destined to die. We are in the place where our lives hang in the balance. So if you want to do anything that makes sense, be completely committed to living. Be completely committed to exalting a full effort so that you are not a detriment to yourself. Because I guarantee you, you will not survive it. The heart attacks, the strokes, the diabetes, the cancer, the lupus, all of this. And then you go to the same people who've been poisoning you, beating you, raped you, sodomized you. You call them granddaddy, great granddaddy, slave master, whatever. They don't deserve another freaking dime from us.
Ooh, I felt like my
boycott. We need to boycott death. Rebuke it and revoke it. We are these points of an absolute and supreme intelligence that is beginningless, endless, infinite, and eternal. We may call it God, Yah, Yahweh, Yahweh, Jehovah. I don't give a what you call it. Whatever is beating your heart and breathing you, you need to be as committed to it as it is to you.
And first of all, it sounds like my mothership has landed. Okay, my mothership is here, and I'm like, yes. So here's the thing: you're right, because doctors are so quick to predict death. They're so quick to not predict. They're so quick to speak death, that when you decide to do things totally not within their realm, and you're doing hello, all seeing activity, peace be with you. When we're not doing things in their realm, and we go back to the mother, to the earth, to heal us, they want to know what happened. What did you do? And how did you do this? And what's going on? And this is not possible. And I understood that because that happened to me when I had fibroids. So when they wanted to do hysterectomy and all, I'm like, wait. The doctor told me, Queen, that you don't need that. I said, what you mean I don't need that? First of all, cancer doesn't run in my family. What you mean I don't need my insides? And the pressure, and I went to 3 doctors. The pressure, when I say the pressure was on, that this is what I needed to do. And this was during the time I stepped out of how I was raised. Because I said, I want to try what this food tastes like. I want to try what that food tastes like. So I went to an acupuncturist, and she said, you know what? this is why this is happening to you, because they're injecting this with antibiotics, and the wings is where they put the antibiotics. It was a, you know, a nice little Korean.
And the breast.
Yes.
Right.
You know, she was talking about it because, you know, with them, when you go to the, you know, the Chinese traditional medicine, they want you to stick out your tongue, they want to feel your pulse and all that kind of stuff. And she was telling me blood is stagnated, and a lot of Black women have fibroids, and I find that to be genocide, where they just want to pull out your womb, and, you know, because you can't have any more kids, and they don't want to do half. And my thing is, it doesn't matter if you're going to do half or all. That's the first thing they want to do. Let's give you some pills and let's go ahead and pull that out of you. And anyone who's listening, please, 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 you got to go to Adama Speaks page. I'm telling you, you got to follow her. You got to listen to her. The stuff that she has, please, I promise you, you need to buy it. Because we were talking prior to coming on, and when I tell you she's the real deal, because I've been around this game, this life, because this ain't a game, a long time. She is the real deal. Dr. Mumbai said, doctors manages disease. There's no profit in curing. You got that right. There is no profit in curing. So I understand. Go ahead. This is your show.
And I'm saying that it is, when my son was in 4th grade, he had to fill out a paper that said, "Who is your doctor?" He said, "My mommy." Okay. Womanhood. All right. We are the ones, the consciousness of the woman sets a tone for the progression of lineages or not. Okay. And so the intention under the divisiveness is to have us divided within ourselves. So if I feel entitled as a woman to do things that undermine myself, I'm going to attract to me a man who's doing things against himself. And we have a good time doing things against ourselves and each other. Okay. So the issue is that had we been supported in understanding how the laws of our being work in terms of the perfection of our being, never having been poisoned, because see, the issue is from the time we were typed male, female, and then male in our mother's wombs, destiny was becoming men and women. You understand? Not ladies and gentlemen. That's a social construct. We use the terminology, but there's a difference in understanding duty, obligation, and responsibility as men, the progenitor of lineages, and womb men, the perpetuator of lineages. Of course, our socialization, our education, our religious training did not support us in understanding how to really perpetuate our lineages, how to ensure the progressive unfoldment of the divinity of our being, our gifts, our talents, our skills. You understand the richness and the wealth. We have really been influenced by people who desecrated and violated the grave sites of our Aboriginal, our indigenous, our native people, right? They figured out a way to rob the pharaoh's tombs. Now they figured a way to literally rob the temples of the living gods and goddesses of our wealth, our treasures, our riches, our ingenuity, our creativity, our talents, our skill, our will, our independence, our codependence or cooperative relationship with God. You understand? Because you cannot be divided within yourself and not be divided. You understand? Because there is no divisiveness in the wholeness. All right. But we should have been supported in being whole. Now, the church says holy. And I'm saying holy comes from the word HOLE. A whole is the evidence where the substance of a thing has been removed. So you restore wholeness. You're talking 360 degrees of integrity, wholeness, completeness. You understand? So no, we're talking wholeness. So in wholeness, we are being spiritually edified, mentally, emotionally, as well as physically and financially. You understand? But we don't get that from these educational institutions. We don't get it. We pay so much and then come out of school with so much indebtedness that we will sell ourselves to the highest bidder to pay off these loans or not. But who we are as these points of the presence of an absolute and supreme intelligence. You get that when you start liberating yourselves from all of these chemicals, all of these toxins. You understand? People say, I don't know what my purpose is. There's only one purpose in existence, is to exalt life, is to live life, is to be an honor and a glory unto life itself. You understand? That's purpose. Now, everybody has their gifts, their talents, their skills, and abilities. We represent lineages of people, and there was greatness in the lineages that we've come through. We cannot be great and be homicidal and genocidal and suicidal at the same time. We cannot consistently try to justify our right to be wrong, our free will to be enslaved to whatever appetite, passion, desire, or lust we care to indulge ourselves in. You understand? So where do we get the greatest degree of elevation, exaltation, and whatnot is when we care to be whole, when we care to be cleared and cleansed, when we care to understand that to be in a place of liberation, we haven't really seen the evidence of people as being liberated. What we saw is people becoming proficient. They became proficient in whatever area of talent, but how did they leave? They left with heart disease, cancer, diabetes, being penniless, drug addicted, and this. You understand there's a difference between being liberated and being proficient. Now, we can appreciate the proficiency of all of these ones. I love my artists. I love Nancy Wilson. I love Patti LaBelle. I love, you understand, we got so much talent. The issue is that we are the beneficiaries of the gifts, the light, the love, the resourcefulness, the epiphanies, the realizations, the revelations of so many ones. But we ourselves have to be bathed in the light of this absolute and supreme intelligence to the degree to which we will stand on behalf of all of them, so that we are walking in the fullness of ourselves. The mental issues, the spiritual issues, the emotional, everything is from nutritional deficiency. You begin, when people say, well, sister, what do you do when you get stressed? I say, I don't get stressed. How do you not get stressed? Stress is the number one killer. I say, I'm not participating in undermining myself. I am very intensely intentional in nourishing my cells, in cleansing, hydrating, mineralizing, activating, alkalizing my cells, because I care to walk the face of this earth to be a glory to the lineages through whom I've come. Our commitments.
That was deep.
Our commitments, and where we won't make commitments, then we don't get the benefit of having made those commitments.
Oh, that was just so deep. And I hope y'all listen. If you have any questions, please. All Seeing Activity says all the medicines come from plants. Just switch your food to plant-based alternative. Surely that will protect you from the most known killers. What people need to understand too, people who switch to plant-based, what I try to remind them is, don't just run in the store and get the burger. I'm not going to say the name, but the burger, the patty, because, you know, it's easy to make things. When I say easy, you can Google, you can YouTube, you can make things from chickpeas. But when you get these, people don't understand, because you're plant-based, that doesn't mean you're healthy. Just because you're vegan, that doesn't mean you're healthy, because they have junk foods in there too. So you just have to be mindful of what you're eating. Dr. Mumbai says, women bring forward children, not kids. Goats bear kids. I love that. Yes, I love that. It's interesting.
Absolutely.
It's interesting where just listening to you and your passion, what you're talking about, that you're really a general. You want us to live our optimum, have our optimal health, which will result to optimal life. And that's what we need to see. We can't say it's hard to be programmed. You take a little at a time, a little at a time. And I look at it like this. Here's the thing, Queen. Usually when someone's given a death sentence, they would find whatever. These are the people who would not try alternative medicine. But the minute they're given a death, I need to go to Mexico. I need to go here. I need to try this. Why wait till then? Start doing that now. Or if, God forbid, you have a heart attack, the doctor says, well, you're going to have to lose 50 pounds in order for us to do this surgery, or we're going to have to put you on this diet where you can't eat any meat. Because I come from a healthcare background, and a lot of the cardiologists now are agreeing to plant-based lifestyle. So it's amazing to me that for someone that I've known who they had heart issues, oh, I'm not eating that. That's nasty. I'm not eating greens. I'm not doing that. But the minute there's a health scare, they're going to start juicing. And I'm like, wait a minute, you weren't doing that before. Well, I need to live. Well, why not? Why not be? I think in today's society, we're so reactive, we're not proactive. That's what I find.
Absolutely. And we've seen that everybody missed this. You understand? What is the root of the oppression is cellular oppression. So the liberation has to happen. So changing the diet is not enough. We do not give our bodies permission to cleanse. Our bodies are trying to cleanse daily. All right. And so the breath is cleansing. And now they have you in mask and you masking and say, oh, I got to wear the mask. I'm like, that is just insane. Okay, now we have to realize that we as a populace of people, even within the confines of this North American continent, right? But when you look at melanin dominant people throughout the world, we are a majority on the planet. All we have to do is say no. Okay. No, we're not participating. But because we are not realizing that there is one real eye that sees through every eye, we're not understanding who and what God is. You understand? So that's the only way you can follow bozos who are not quite functional. You understand? Is that you don't know God. You don't know God as self. You don't know God as all. You don't know God as the sun. You don't know God as the breath, as the air, as the water. It's all God. You understand? In terms of that which is life enhancing, life perpetuating, life maintaining, life sustaining. You understand? And as we're maturing, we should become ever more vivid in the truth of ourselves. We should not be declining. Maturity, when you're dealing with the reality of one, we're already in the realm of eternity. How old is the sun? How old is the earth? You understand? So we're made out of the very same stuff. We should not be dying at all. We're rebuking and revoking death. Death, it says, the wages of sin is death. Now, people who will say, oh, well, I believe in the life of Jesus. I've been bathed in the blood of Christ and all that. I'm saying, no, we have to create the blood of Christ. You're talking a bloodstream that bears no violation of violated beings. You can't have rotting pigs and rotting cows and rotting chickens and rotting this and the flesh of dead animals and all of this garbage in your body and then know the blood of Christ, have the blood of Christ. It's a bloodstream that allows for the consciousness of your knowing in a surety who you are as God's own in its temple. You understand? So many people just don't want to be that clean, Jacqueline. They don't want to be that righteous. They don't want to be that disciplined. They don't want to be. You understand? When it really comes down to what is required now, you have to have an intensive desire for living.
Yes. And see, and I understand because, as I said, growing up in Jamaica, we never went to the hospital. Anything was wrong, my grandfather, grandmother would go in the back, walk on the street, pick a bush, boil the bush, and we would drink it. And I remembered I was talking to someone this week sometime on Sundays. That's when you would take your wash out, your cleanse. You know, you drink your teas, and you would have lunch maybe at 12 o'clock, and that's it. But then you'd have your teas. You would drink your cerasee tea, cleaning you out. You'd make your they call that hibiscus here. We call that sorrel. You would drink that. Things like that. Your sour sop leaves. But then because I talked to a couple of my friends, I says, wait a minute. We didn't do all the stuff that we're doing here in Jamaica, but in Jamaica, you have forgotten what you need to be doing. Go back to your roots. Go back. Stop running to the doctor for every doggone thing. Go back to your roots. And they're like, well, I don't have this. I don't have that. I don't have the time. So you'd rather take the pharmaceutical medication. And then, that's just a Band-Aid. That is just a Band-Aid. And then later on, when something happens, they have a lawyer to say, hey, call 1-800 if you've been using this drug. Because when you're watching something and you have all these, you have all these, if you take this, you're going to have hypertension, you're going to have this, you're going to have that, you're going to have that. And then when you have it, they already have the lawyers set up on the back end that you call the attorneys, and they're going to help fight the case. I don't think people understand how that really works.
And the other aspect of it is that really, there's absolute law that governs existence, okay? And nobody can break the law. There is no breaking the law exists. So whatever it is that you have been passionate about, whatever it is that you have been hailing, literally you are charging the frequency of whatever lust, passion, fear, pain, whatever, it's charging itself upon the very fiber of your being. You understand? Good people are dying every day. Being good is not good enough for where we are. We have to consciously care to be liberated. We have to consciously care to walk in the integrity of our own authenticity as these living, loving, intelligent, potent, and immortal points of absolute and supreme being. And to know that this intelligence is all there is as existence itself. There's nowhere we can go without it. Wherever we are in our respective places in this now moment, we are all immersed in the intelligence of existence. It is all pervasive. It fills all spaces. There is no disease that can exist in the air out there. Whatever disease is already in the body because of the viral, the bacterial, the chemical, and all of that that is there. So it's not good enough to just change the diet. I have been strict vegetarian for over 44 years. All right. And so I know that I've seen so many vegan vegetarians pass away: breast cancer, uterine cancer, cervical cancer, ovarian cancer, prostate cancer, because we weren't brought up that way. And the acidity from the vegan form of the same stuff that we started eating when we were children, all those chemicals are still in the tissues, bound by that mucus. That's why daily cleansing, daily clay water, daily enemas, daily, in order to reverse it. I was talking to a sister today. She says, well, is it safe? I said, but you all never asked whether it was safe to eat the flesh of a dead animal 3 times a day, times 365 days a year, times 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. You understand? So as a result of that, then no, the enemas daily are a necessity. A necessity. If you were to go, if somebody diagnose you with cancer and you go to a really holistic cancer treatment facility, whether you go to Mexico, wherever, they're going to give you enemas. They're going to put wheatgrass or whatever up your rectum and whatnot 4 times a day. That because cancer is really just extreme acidity. It's not something that needs to be a death sentence. We need to remember who we are as points of the presence of an absolute and supreme intelligence. We need to accept the divinity of existence. You understand? But we cannot support the violation of other beings. The chicken deserves its liberation. The salmon deserves its liberation. The crab deserves its liberation. The cow deserves its liberation. How is it that you raise a being, you raise a cow, shoot her up, right? She doesn't even have the dance with the bull, right? The bull is mated with other bulls. They capture the semen, put it in the gun, put the cow on a rape rack, and shoot the sperm into her. The calf begins to grow inside. When she delivers that calf, the calf is taken from her, but then they keep pumping her full of hormones to make her milk continue to flow so that we get her milk. That's now been pasteurized and homogenized and is rendered really useless. But the calf didn't get it. You understand? I'm just saying every order of being needs its liberation. And Mother Earth and Mother Nature and her creatures deserve their liberation because they've done nothing to be a detriment to us.
Exactly.
Right now, our liberation has to happen cellularly. Otherwise, we're in the harvest of sickness, illness, disease, and death as multi-trillion-dollar business. We do not need to participate. And I'm calling women. I'm calling women not exclusively, but those who really want to be considered to be women, real women. I'm calling you to rise completely up. We can no longer be complicit and complacent with our own oppression. We can no longer serve meat, dairy, eggs, chicken, fish, flesh, flour, sugar, alcohol, tobacco, and whatnot to ourselves, our children, or our men, or our loved ones. We need to be completely realigned and restored in the divinity of the who and the who's that we are, because we are the nourishers. We are the nurturers. Every time we feed death to our family members, we are creating these issues. And then you get to the wake and you get to the past, the repast, and they're feeding you the same thing that killed the people that just, you know, and I'm like, okay, We got to have a wake-up call. Otherwise, you don't want to be right and you need to get the hell on. You don't want to live and go ahead and take yourself out and get on. But this day in our time requires us, if we will live, to be completely committed to living in the light of the truth of the all that we already are.
You know, and I said to someone the other day, there was a funeral going on, and we went to, went to someone's
Hold
house.
on just a minute for me. Hold on. Janice. Hold on.
If y'all want to join, just please subscribe. Please subscribe to the channel, the Women Are Worthy Network. Where I created this space. I created this space because I wanted people to understand this is a positive space. It's a non-judgmental space, because I got sick and tired of seeing all the negativity that's out there, and I wanted to be part of life. I want to show people that we can be positive and share positive influences on this show. As I was saying earlier, I was at a location and they were serving all this food. And I said, you know what? Why don't you go pick your coffin out? And they're like, what you talking about? That's kind of morbid. Because if you're selling this kind of stuff, it's just a matter of time before that contributes to your demise. And I love the fact that you said we need to, and I'm going to say we need to rise up. There's no time to be ignorant anymore. There isn't any time. We have a lot of time if we're doing the right thing. If we're not doing the right things, we ain't got no time. Okay, so we got to get it together.
And those that you've been following literally don't have much time. Okay, so don't follow them.
Because you're gonna go just like the shepherd. You're gonna follow the shepherd with the sheep, and you're gonna go down that windy road. Tanisha said it was shared with me that one of the original definition from an ancient language, the word sin means miss the point.
Right.
And exactly. So that's correct. But
and being in a place where you're missing the purpose in being. Right. So by the time you follow a system of miseducation, where the education is about your indoctrination, it's about you accepting somebody else's theories and opinions as if they have validity. We were not told to accept people's belief systems. We were told to know the truth, and the truth would make us free. Of course, we didn't get truth in school. All right. And then we got various interpretations of truth through the church. Okay. And in order to be in a place where you can even preach, you understand, then you got to go through a process of matriculation through somebody's thing to make sure that you're giving the right interpretation of this, that, and the other. I come from a line of ministers. My mother, my father, my grandmother. Today's my grandmother's anniversary of her birth. She was born 1899, February 4th. She was a Spelman College graduate. All right. She worked with Mary McLeod Bethune. Her brothers were all graduated at Morehouse. They all became doctors and doctors of philosophy and reverends. So I come from a line of ministers. I left the church at 11 because nobody could talk to me about why people are dying. I knew from the time I was a child that there was something wrong, because we are of God and God doesn't die. And what we're seeing in terms of so much death. And now here we are 60 years later and people are dying. And, I talked to a sister, her 24-year-old is basically bedridden with a tumor on his spine, cancer. So I'm telling her what she needs to do. Right. And it's doable. But the first thing she says, I ain't got $350. I say, well, you can get it. $350 amongst family members. That's no money. Well, I don't ask anybody for anything. I say, well, you need to ask God.
Or your deductible, because you think about this. What you're paying now, when you have to go to the hospital, you're going to have to pay them eventually. And that deductible is it's off the charts right now. So, just listening to you, how can people, follow you? And because when I say you spit in the word, I wanted to say Morpheus. When I say you spit in the word, you spit in the word. How can one follow you? Where can they get because I'm telling y'all, please Go to her IG is Adama Speaks. I had it scrolling around a few minutes ago. Go visit, listen to the nutritional stuff that she has. That it's not, she's not selling it. I don't like the word selling. It's nutritional for your body, and it's going to help you. Just listen to what she has to say. It's not going to cost you anything to listen. Go on. She has her radio show. When I say she's passionate about living, how many people is out there talking about living without shooting you up with pharmaceutical medicine? Okay.
I know. And knowing that we have the opportunity and we have the wherewithal to reverse any of it. You understand? Now we hear children talking about, I want to grow up to cure cancer. No, there's already a cure for cancer. Stop eating from these people. You understand? Start cleansing and nourishing your body. And so Mother Earth's blessing is located at 1830 Cheshire Bridge Road, Northeast. And that's off of Piedmont here in Atlanta. And I'm generally open from 1 to 8. And the best way to communicate with me is by phone. It's 678-760-9299. Otherwise, you can put Adama Speaks into a search engine. I'm on 89.3 FM every Thursday night, midnight to 3 a.m. I've been on radio for 22 years. I had a strict vegetarian restaurant, Little 5 Points, from 1994 to 1999. And I closed that because it didn't make sense to be feeding people, so much good food for them to go to Zestos and go eat. You understand? That's a waste of my time and energy. And then I realized that the reality of it is that your spirit has to be fed. Your mind has to be fed. You're not just an eating machine. You understand? And so the intention is to make sure that you are supported in knowing that you are worthy and deserving to walk in the greatness of who you were born to be. That's what this is. That's what life should be for everybody.
Eat to live, not live to eat. Mm-hmm.
Right. And living now to literally glorify and honor. You understand? So some ones, all of those ones who are always into these devices. I say the devices are divisive. You understand? You in a room full of people and everybody's on their device. You can't even have the conversation with people because you're paying attention to people who are not even there, not even a part of your energy, and then you don't know how to communicate with the people who are with you. So I do and host and facilitate an empowerment circle every Wednesday evening at Mother Earth's Blessing from 6 until, and then we have a practical application at Harmonization with drums and shakerees and this and that. And because we bring the spirit and it gets to be live. And then Sundays from 3 to 7. Why? Because we saw that when they said shelter in place, the church is closed. I say, how y'all gonna close? The liquor stores didn't close. Strip club didn't close. You understand? So I'm just saying, I didn't stop doing anything that I do because I am under the auspices of the eternal order. I know that the eternal order is the order. You understand? It's already in full effect. And what we're having to do is harmonize ourselves with it through our clearing, cleansing, purification process. And so Adama Speaks at YouTube, Adama Speaks, bbsradio.com/Adama Speaks, and then wrfg.org every Thursday night, 89.3 FM from midnight to 3. And so it matters that we care to really, a lot of people will think that I'm really extreme. I say, no, this system of sickness, illness, disease, and death is extreme, and for those who are saying and thinking that, okay, you changed your diet, but the residues, the chemicals, the mucus, that stuff is still in the body. I'm telling you, being plant-based is not the issue. We are intelligences of existence, and we are literally breatharian. You understand? You don't become a breatharian. You are breatharian. Everybody has to breathe. You understand? You heal and reverse anything through breathing and water. Our bodies are 80% water. We're eating ourselves to death. Vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, all of that. I'm just saying the reality of it is that in order to really stand on behalf of the establishment of the eternal, which is how we come to liberation, where we break the spell that is over our people, to the degree to which we are in a direct download of insight and intuitive, our psychic abilities, but we are receiving the laws that govern our continuation in existence right where we are. That's the whole point of this.
Tanisha just
the law.
Tanisha just made a comment, and I love her comment. Real toxicity remains in the flesh from the internal voice. We are dying because of the story we're telling ourselves within. We are feeding our minds and hearts toxic thoughts, which turns into disease. That is so. Oh, I'm telling you, this is something we got to have you back on, because I'm telling you, you are feeding. This is what I'm talking about. Feeding the soul. I said we're all in the same book, just different chapters. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. You're feeding, you're soothing. And I think there's a song that I think Boys to Men sing, and it talks about mama. This is what I'm talking about. You're like the mothership, and you're just giving us the information. All we need to do, if you think about it, because if we can spend, I don't know how much filet mignon steaks are, because people always telling me, oh, being plant-based or vegan is expensive. No, it's not. What do you mean it's expensive? But you can go, and then you have those who go to McDonald's and they can have, disrespect, but they can go to McDonald's and they can have a whole meal for maybe $4. But look at what you're eating. You see, they've done experiments where they've put this meat away for like 5-6 years, and the meat hasn't rotten. It hasn't changed. That's a problem for me. That is a problem. Okay.
Exactly. So keeping that inside. I haven't had a job since 1992. And of the 40 some years that I've been out of college, I worked 4 months as a fitness instructor, 4 months as a substitute teacher here in Atlanta, 4 months for the Internal Revenue during tax season. And then I had $1 million business from 94 to 99. What we don't realize is that the wealth is in us. These people do not have any real wealth except for that which they're extracting from the earth. But how do they get it? It's from the hands of Black people. You understand? But we have no value for ourselves because they have no value for us. We think more of our polished wood, metal, and stone, which does not regenerate. It cannot be rejuvenated. You either have to repair parts, buy new parts, or get something new. But these bodies regenerate. They rejuvenate from the inside out. You understand? So we're talking brains. They say, oh, well, the brain cells. No, everything can be regenerated and rejuvenated. We have to come to a place where we will cultivate and invest in cultivating the wealth of ourselves.
Oh, my God.
You understand? Now, listen now, because everybody's into more and more money. Money is good. I don't have a problem with money. I can use more because I got more that I want to do. Right? But the issue is I'm not going to whore for it. I'm not going to prostitute myself for it. I'm not going to do things that compromise the integrity of my standing in the light of the truth of the right alignment with God for money. All right. The issue for us is realizing you could take all of the money that has ever been printed, no matter how fine the paper, the ink, or the image upon it, all the coin that has ever been minted, no matter how fine or how expensive the metal, the gold, the platinum, the copper, whatever, right? Put it all together. It does not have the value of one beat of our heart or one breath that we take. We are the wealth. It is our ingenuity, our creativity, our faith, our confidence, our visioning. It is our being able to see ourselves whole, restored, revitalized, revivified, and resurrected. There is not a freaking thing that we can create that is greater than who and what we already are, butt naked.
You know what? When I say I got to definitely send someone this, because they have it within them. They're working their 9 to 5, but like The Rock said the other day, he has a quick quote. He said, you working a 9 to 5 and you're making the man the money, the corporation the money, but you also want to do your own thing. But you're spending so much time working for the man that when you come home and to do your business, because you also got to hustle, which is your business, you too tired, you can't do this, you can't do, so you're spending your time. And I see so many people who spend so much time on their 9 to 5. I understand everybody got to eat, I get it, but if you have something that you need to do, because as you said, all we need to do is just put it out there. So many millionaires or so many people who can take care of their families are in the graveyard because they went to bed with that. They didn't do their dream or what they needed to do. So when you said that, I mean, it struck me because I've been talking to this person like, go ahead, pursue your dreams. You know, you're telling me, well, I got this to do. I got my dog. I got this. I got that. Come on. If you're going to make time for your 9 to 5, you got to make, but then if you're going to complain about what the 9 to 5 is telling you that what they, because it's their company, you got to make time for your dream. You got to make time for what, because then you're the boss. You know what I'm saying? So you just, I'm telling you, hit the nail on the head. And I am so, Queen, I'm so happy to have you on here. We're definitely going to extend another invitation. You're booked and busy all year round, but we're going to find something, you know, because at the end of the day, I love what you're saying. And I just want to give you your rose because we're winding down now. Thank you, Queen, for doing all that you're doing. You know, we appreciate you. You're definitely, as I said, our mother starship that has landed. I've definitely unplugged out of the matrix, and I'm definitely going to be going on this ride with you because I love it. And I speak life, as you know, as Adama was talking about, I speak life to everyone. Don't speak death. Be careful what you're speaking. Be careful what you're manifesting. Oh, my head, my neck. Oh, this is killing me. Stop using words like that.
Exactly,
Stop. You're speaking death. Stop speaking that. Have the ability to overcome. Speak positive. Speak life into ourselves. That's what we need. Speak life into other people. You ain't gotta like them. You ain't gotta like them, but still speak life into people. We want to thank everyone for tuning into the Women Are Worthy Network. This has been amazing to me. I think I'm gonna watch this 4 or 5 times before I release it because you got some gems in here that I gotta write, and I'm definitely gonna reach out to the company and order some of the stuff. So we want to thank everyone for tuning in. We want everyone to have a wonderful weekend. Please be safe. Do what you need to do, and more than anything, please just spread some love. That's all we need you to do. Spread some love and love yourself. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. Thank you, Queen.
Bless you. You're welcome, Jacqueline. Thank you.